$8,650.05. MD&T money market account, $850,854.22. SBA reserve account, $699,917.26. Total interest-bearing accounts, $1,550,771.48. Total cash balances in the general fund, $2,861,921.53. Daily deposits, $118,753.97. Interest received, $374.39. Golf revenues, $43,656.55. Assessments received, $1,227,888.26. For total deposits of $1,390,673.17. Total expenditures, $5,000 and above, $394,425.86. Expenditures under $5,000, $113,235.99. Total expenditures, $507,664.85. That's your treasury.
Thank you, sir. Comments, questions? Can I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented and approve payment of bills? Mr. Morrissey, seconded by Mr. Amos. Comments, questions? Anyone, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Steph, don't give me that look. Don't give me that look when I skip things on the agenda. Sometimes I have a plan.
While the chairman's coming up there, an amendment to the roll call, Stephanie, trustee-elect Earl Brinker.
On? Is it on? Thank you. Today we have, Charles, you going to come up too? Yes. Today we have a couple of presentations to do, and our first one, of course, is a presentation of what they call MINO money. And what this is this gives the employee who is receiving it one day, I believe, Charles, is that correct, a day off?
Yes.
Yep. And today we are here to honor Barefoot Bay Recreation District Employee Appreciation Certificate to Julie Gregory. Oh, Kathy, I'm sorry. I should have called you up ahead. And Kathy Mendez, Food and Beverage Manager. Come in the middle over here. So this is awarded to Julie Gregory in grateful recognition of your 5 years of dedicated and valuable service to Barefoot Bay Recreation District. We couldn't do it without you. Awarded this 3rd day of December 2021. Julie, of course, works with food and beverage and works at the 19th hole. So congratulations. And if Charles, get on this side over here if you would. And we'll, and
Girl, boy, girl, boy. Okay.
yeah, take one with her money. Take a picture with her money.
Okay.
Thank you, Julie.
Thanks.
Mr. Gunther, please. We have a presentation, of course, to our Chief Counsel, Cliff Reppinger. Mr. Gunther, Tom Gunther, was a Board of Trustee member for 8 years. He was also Chairman of the Board for 4 years. I think you told, or 6 years? 6 years Chairman of the Board? Whoa, Klusky, you thought you were going good. No. And so he's here to help me present this to Cliff Reppinger. Mr. Reppinger, please come up. And I'll read it first, Tom, and then we'll go. And of course, Cliff has resigned and he is going as our Chief Counsel. He's been with us for, I believe, 14 years. Everyone has strong feelings for Mr. Reppinger. He's always been and done the best he could for Barefoot Bay. He was easy to talk to, easy to contact. He always had the right information for us, and he did his utmost to provide the best service he could for Barefoot Bay. With that, I would like to read this, Making the Difference. Awarded to Clifford R. Reppinger Jr. for your loyal dedication and unwavering commitment. Thank you for your outstanding contributions toward our goals and for making our organization stand above the rest. Barefoot Bay Recreation District, 2007 through 2021. Cliff, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Come up, sir, please. Mr. Gunther, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm gonna just skip through this real quick.
Sure, the mic is yours.
I think I'm qualified to say, and I think the trustees that served along with me would agree, Cliff was an asset to our community and part of a big reason why Barefoot Bay is the great community it is today. And I simply just want to take this opportunity to thank him for his service to the Bay and wish him well in any future endeavors he chooses. Thank you, Cliff, for what you've done.
Can we get a picture, Charles, come up to, can we get one more picture of the four of us, please?
Yep.
And then Cliff, I'm
For sure.
And I would like to, before we do this, I want to make sure everyone understands, we're going to have a little hors d'oeuvres and some drinks and things after the meeting. I know there are a lot of people who would like to say things to Cliff. We would rather you didn't do it during audience participation, but after the meeting, we're going to continue and we'll have a mic for the audience. We'll pass it around. You can get up and say whatever you would like. Okay?
Good or bad.
So good or bad, right. So if you would do that, please. Can we?
Thank you. All right.
Anything now?
That's it. I'll say it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So again, as I said, we're going to have a little, not ceremony, a little deal after the meeting. Please feel free to stay and offer Cliff congratulations, whatever. We'll do that after the meeting. With that, we have audience participation is next on the agenda. Again, I have Louise and I have Nancy. Do you want to wait till the end? Right, okay. And the next up would be Jean Osborne. You're going to wave too, Jean? Okay, thank you. Any other audience participation? We have no letters, right, Charles? Nothing came in? All right, thank you. With that, audience participation is closed. Unfinished business, discussion of COVID-19 precautions. Charles, we have nothing in here from John. Anything we need to add?
Not that I'm aware of, whether or not you, so, what we were talking about, I know I talked with John about having the dividers in the golf carts and the timing of whether or not you were going to remove them or extend them that's up to you all. And the one rider per cart rule. And now you won't have another meeting until the 14th. So if you were to extend them beyond the end of this month, if you were waiting till another meeting, you'd have to push it back to the 16th or so. But that's a
Comments, questions of the board? We actually do not have a recommendation. How does the board feel about this? Mr. Nugent, I thought you would raise your hand, I'm sorry.
Yeah, hello, hi. Due to the fact that we don't have another meeting until the 14th, I think we should extend it to the 14th.
The one person per cart rider?
Yeah.
Other comments, questions?
I was gonna say, why don't we give the blessings to the golf manager to look at this? That's almost a 6-week period with a lot of the seasonals coming back.
The only, let me stop, the only thing they don't like about that, they would rather it's put on us and not on them.
Yeah, but we're looking at 6 weeks, that's,
Well, we could make a decision whatever we want for whatever time. All I'm suggesting is I know from John and Ernie that they would much rather the board makes these decisions rather than them just going off and then having someone complain. So I understand what you're saying, Jeff, it is a long time. We could set a date, we could do whatever you'd like. But I
The reason
think,
why I say that is because of this, the new virus coming around now.
Mhm.
It makes it a little more difficult if you don't have the second booster, you know. And a lot of people don't have even the original one, you know, so it's a little difficult to put it off. But I think I'd rather be, safe than sorry. And now there's like 5 or 6 of them in New York. And now it's starting to show up in other states. It's only a matter of time. If you feel that, I feel for the golfers, you know, it is a long time, but it's up to us.
Well, it doesn't affect them. They actually, many people prefer riding single cart, you know, I mean, one person to a cart. What it simply does though is it tears up our course a little more than normal, especially with more golfers coming down. The more carts you have on the course, of course, the more damage it does to the fairways, et cetera. But again, they really are, Mr. Henley and Mr. Coffey are open to whatever the board suggests we should do as consensus, so. Mr. Nugent.
I have not heard that there's been a delay of those people that want to play golf because there were no carts available.
I'm sorry, is your mic,
Yeah.
is it on? Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry, say it again.
I have not heard that there's a delay in people scheduling tee times.
No, there's
Because no
not.
carts are available.
No.
I think if we continue to encourage the men's league to bring their own carts, that we look at the Sunday morning scramble, that they bring their own carts, other groups that play, I think we should be fine until the 14th.
The only thing that I can see that, no, I agree with what Jim's saying, we have a lot of people with their own carts. We're not running out of carts. I haven't heard anybody say that we're running out of carts. And even if we do, these carts are fast turnarounds because their charges on their batteries will last a lot longer than one round. So we don't have any input on that, and we just haven't seen anything. And with the overseeding, I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. The overseeding might actually help because we'll have a lot more grass on the course, so the carts may not have as big of an effect if you're still running 3 or 4 carts out there. So I agree with them, but without any other guidance for anything, we could just leave it as it goes, leave it as it is.
Okay, with that, Mr. Bruno, I mean,
I'm okay.
yeah. I didn't want to knock down your suggestion, but I know, whatever we do, I just simply say that the board has to decide what we do. So I actually, if someone would make a motion to leave as it is or change something, I would appreciate that.
How could it?
Motion to leave as it is there a second to that? Second by Mr. Amos. Any other comments, questions? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Can we,
I'm sorry? We're leaving a 1 rider per cart. That's what we do now. No, just leaving it like it is right now, till the next meeting,
Until the 14th.
till the 14th. Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda, DOR review ad hoc committee appointments. In your packets, you have, an agenda page with that, and then you also should have an email from Mr. Coffey indicating that we now have 7 alternates. Charles, do you want to do this, or do I just go on with it?
Please.
Okay. The recommendation of staff is that we appoint 5 individuals to voting positions and 2 individuals to the alternate positions. Mr. Coffey suggested we do it in the order that they were received. So with that, it would be Dan Murphy, Joe Klusky, John Scarrett, I believe you say, Louise Kraus, and Jeff Gruno would be the 5 voting members of the committee. And Deidre Cohen, Vicky Sloss would be the 2 alternates. They would all, of course, meet, but the 5 members would be the voting members. That is a recommendation. Is there a motion to accept the recommendation? Mr. Nugent, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Morrissey. Comments, questions? Mr. Bruno?
I'm going to abstain.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? I appreciate the fact that these people are willing to volunteer. As you saw from some of the information you received before, it's a daunting task for them, trying to know what we should change, what we should leave as it is, so I appreciate that. Okay, we have a motion to appoint these 7 individuals to the board. As I indicated, the first 5 are voting members. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Miniature golf course. Again, there's, we had quite a lengthy discussion on this. By the way, if you have something you want to jump in, you let me know, because I'm not sure what John has to do, so, okay.
No problem.
As you know, we had a lengthy discussion on this before. A lot of pros and cons to some of the things. You do have in your packet the recommendation from Mr. Coffey that the board decides whether they will, number one, get involved at all with the layout of the holes, and number two, whether or not we approve the proposal for beautification, if you want to call it that, of the miniature golf course, which would be, each hole would be adopted by a club. And let's start with the first part of that, because there's no real recommendation here. The first part of that is, and I didn't understand this until John and I had a meeting. I have no problem with the way the holes are laid out on our miniature golf course. I thought the best thing we were doing at one point was just put carpeting down there so it would simply keep the ball from rolling. And then John explained that, well, there's people who think we should revamp the golf course, make it different arrangements, do things. It's up to the board whether you want to do that, whether you want to start redesigning a miniature golf course. That was not what I thought the intention was, but again, it's up to the board. This is the board's prerogative. And John wants that answered first.
I was under the impression that we were just going to carpet it to slow the play a little bit, but basically leave it intact.
Right. And I thought that at the beginning too, that we were doing a good thing. People complained because it was on concrete, cement, and it was just so fast. Okay, great, let's put some carpeting down. We weren't trying to design a course that everybody thought was real easy or real hard or whatever. It's just simply a course they could go out, and the carpeting would help the play. Again, but we need a consensus of whether we're gonna get involved and start redesigning the course that staff and Mr. Coffey and everybody put together. Mr. Nugent.
I'd like to make a motion that we do not redesign the miniature golf course.
There's a motion, is there a second to the motion? Mr. Bruno, comments, questions?
I don't think we should redesign the course and do a lot of the other things that were on here. The only thing I feel the board needs to do is approve the money for the carpeting and get that in.
We have that.
And that's already been done.
That's already been done.
And I don't see what else the board
And-
really
and-
needs to get involved in.
And it's a good point. And see, the point of it is that Mr. Coffey was concerned that with the discussions as they were going, that all of a sudden we put carpeting in, and then someone would want to redesign a hole, and all of a sudden we'd be tearing carpeting up and putting new patches in. I just was not in favor of that at all.
I was just gonna make, the only caveat would be if we bring a company in to do the carpeting, and they make a recommendation that maybe there should be
Absolutely,
a
that's
tweaking,
sure.
follow the professionals. There's a professional outfit that's right up in
And-
Palm Beach or Palm Bay.
And when we do the carpeting, whether we have to put little higher ridges or edges, or that'll be determined by our staff and the people who put the carpeting in.
Yeah.
Okay, the motion is that, and again, we have two things we're going to discuss. The first motion is that we are not going to change the holes by this, the board is not going to do that. Correct? Steph, we got the motion? We are going, the board is not going to get involved in changing the design of the golf course, of the miniature golf course. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The second thing we need is there is a beautification, what we call the Beautification Plan, that was presented by Paradise Planners, by Sue Hill, came and made her presentation. There are a lot of good things in there. We need a motion or a recommendation, a motion, I guess, because there is no recommendation. Do we approve this beautification plan, which would involve holes being adopted by clubs, and they would then do their beautification based on the kinds of things that are involved in the proposal? Comments, questions, motion, whatever we'd like. Mr. Nugent.
I'm hearing that Sue Hill is no longer involved,
That's correct.
Oh, I didn't know that.
so I think we should probably table that part until we can find a new person who's going to take over. And I'd like a list of the names of the clubs and what holes they're going to do.
Sure. Well, before they would adopt, a good point, and we can do that, but again, remember, before they would adopt the whole, we would have to pass something allowing them or saying that that's what they could do. But I appreciate your point, I did not know that Sue was not involved. You wanna make that a motion, we table this to a future meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second? Mr. Bruno, second. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is discussion of land purchase. This was, of course, brought up at our last meeting, and Mr. Morrissey had indicated that someone had talked to him. You did, in your agenda packet, receive copies of the land that was in question. You also received an email in your packet indicating that estimated value of that land was $283,325. It is now up to the board to discuss this and see if there's anything further they want to do. Again, in my meeting with John, Mr. Coffey, prior to this about the agenda, you know, we discussed a lot of things about this, and I'm not necessarily against us buying new land for putting something in, like an RV lot that we could eventually make some money on. However, with this particular piece of property, as we discussed, this of course would have to go to a referendum. And if we're going to put a referendum, this kind of an issue on there where we're gonna spend $200,000 or $300,000 for a piece of property and spend another $200,000 or $300,000 fixing that up, putting fences in, doing the land, doing electricity, water. Our concern, my concern is that if something like that were to go on the referendum with the other two ballot issues we're gonna have, which are raising the cap from 25,000 to 50,000 and changing the term limits of trustees from 2 years to 3 years, which would eliminate the ever having a 3 members elected at one time. I would be fearful that all 3 would go down.
I have 3 of them, Mike. I think that's ballot fatigue, and when in doubt, people vote no.
Yeah. It's just that this would be such a big, major project that we started discussing this. Again, but I'm open to whatever, Mr. Morrissey, anything?
Yes, yeah, I'd like to say something in favor of it. This is a money-making situation here. We're not gonna lose money on that. First of
Well-
all, can I explain how I want to
Yeah.
explain it, please?
Well,
I talked to the person that was in charge of the RV storage. They have a constant 35 to 40 people wait, okay? They've been waiting a long time. It wasn't suggested to buy 17 acres. They have a 2.5 acre lot available that's very close to the bay, and it's not cost anywhere near the $200,000 that was estimated, number one. Right now, I see that other than making in about maybe 2 years, 2 to 3 years, it'll be paid off. So the site that we looked at should be looked into. You know, it's a 2.5 acre site, not the 17 acres. They have 17 acres, and they have 2.5. The 1,700 you're talking about, the 17 acres, the 100, 300, whatever it is. I don't think it's going to cost that kind of money for 2.5 acres. Okay, so and that'll probably make 100 sites. At 10 foot wide, 30 foot deep, okay? So I'd like to have John look into it a little bit further, the price for that 2.5 acres. It would make a lot of happy people here in the future. And the 25 of those 100 spots would be for overnighters, not overnighters, but people coming down with their children, visiting their mothers and fathers, and they have no place to put their campers. And that'd be the 25 of them, of the 100. The other 50 is gonna be taken right away. So you only have 25 extra ones too. And that's gonna be for the amount of people moving into this area, I'm sure that they'll be filled up. So that is definitely a moneymaker, number one. So, number two, I think 2.5 acres would do fine, and not the 100. But that's, you know, that's only looking at it in paper. You know, so you have to go further and look at, I'm only trying to get a consensus of the board if they want to go further with it. Then have John get the people involved in it, and talk to the seller, and come up with a price. I think it's a very good idea. It's a moneymaker.
I'm sorry, Mr. Nugent.
I think we should continue the investigation. It's my understanding that the land, any of it there off of Nico, is zoned residential. So therefore, for us to change the use of the property is going to require approval from the city council. And I don't know what a lengthy process that is. And whether or not the abutters will get involved. I mean, have we notified the abutters? I mean, should we in fact have a workshop to continue this discussion?
Okay. Anyone else?
I think it's a good idea, but right now, I think we're kind of constrained by the cap. And I don't think there's any harm in further investigation, but until the cap passes, it's kind of moot.
Sharon, anything?
Well, that would be it. I think maybe you should look into it. And it's gonna take probably a little while to look into it, especially things like if, the zoning and situations like that. So if we could get our staff to look into that and then get back to us at another
And we
meeting.
can do that, we can continue it. Again, I'm looking at it this year with 2 items coming on a referendum, though, I'm not sure I'm in favor of buying some more land. But it's a good idea, I understand Mr. Morris's point, it could be a minute acre, it could be of value to the bay, but, it's something we have to look into, I guess.
Mr. Chairman, can we ask council, how hard is it to do zoning changes?
Not that difficult. I don't know how difficult this particular one would be. It all depends on the objection that you get. Generally, in terms of the time process, if it's a straight up rezoning and there's no comp plan amendment, you could be done with it within 2 to 3 months from the time that you submit the application. So it's not a fairly lengthy process on just a straight up rezoning. But of course, if you get objection to that, or depending on what happens at the staff level, or whatever other approvals you might need, that could stretch that out a little bit longer. But generally, I mean, you would be done with this within 2 to 3 months if it was straight up rezoning. Maybe a little bit longer than that if it's a comp plan amendment. So, yeah, not too long.
Okay, can we leave this then, that we would ask staff to investigate further, especially about the 2.5 acre parcel, I believe you mentioned, Mike, right?
Yeah, I think you need a motion for that anyway, to look at, go further with it.
Well, I'm not sure we're gonna motion, we're just asking them to continue investigating
To have them look into it.
what the price would be, what the zoning factors would be, that kind of thing, and, you know. So I guess if it's a consensus of the board, we would ask them to continue looking into this, especially the 2.5 acre parcel, see what that would cost, what it would cost to make it into a parking area, the zoning issues, etc. So consensus of the board?
Yes.
Agree?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Employee classification plan and compensation study. Charles, you want to talk about this a little bit? Well, we have a recommendation, but part of what I guess is that I need to, and I'll paraphrase it for you. This, of course, is we put out bids to see about doing this employee classification plan and compensation study. 2 companies responded. One was Evergreen Solutions at $24,000 and HR Compensation Consultants at $24,720. Why I asked Charles is that Charles and his staff was asked to see if they in fact could do the study, correct? And you all received a letter from them indicating the detail and the amount of work that is needed in this. So the first thing I'm going to do before we do, Rich, is I'm going to ask the board so we get it on the table as an item. The staff recommends the award contract to Evergreen Solutions for employee classification and compensation study in the amount of $24,000. Can we have a motion to approve that? Mr. Amos approves, seconded by Mr. Bruno. Okay, Mr. Armington.
Yeah, the reason we looked at Evergreen as probably the one that we would recommend is because they will come here And and I know you all looked through your package. The other one was gonna charge us, I believe, $2,400 a day to come here. We've seen the work of Evergreen. I'm not sure if all of you have seen the study that they did for West Melbourne. We thought that they did a great job. We reached out to 3 other companies, they wouldn't even give us a price. I don't know if it's because of the $15 minimum, and a lot of people are looking at this right now. But we felt, and we also talked to, or Kristen talked to West Melbourne, and they were extremely happy with what they did, and they intend to use them probably every 4 to 5 years. They'll use them again to do their program. So we felt that they were probably the best choice to go with, but again, it's up to the board. Any other questions?
And of course, you all realize that for the public, what we're discussing here is the fact that we have to go, of course, to the $15 minimum wage, and then we have the compression factor of our other staff members or other employees, who we have to decide how we adjust those pay scales, et cetera, so that we keep everyone happy and we keep our employees. So it's a lengthy,
It's a
lengthy
4-month,
process.
yeah,
they go
4-month
through.
process for them. If we were to do it in-house, we might get it done in a year and a half.
Right.
It's just, we just don't have staff to do it, and they're professionals. And I think once it's done, and we see what a professional job that they give us, with it's not only the compensation, it's the classification
Right.
of the employee also. And from what I've looked at for what they do, it's pretty comprehensive, and it will put our people in the classification that they need to be, with our job descriptions that we have, and with their discussions with the employees themselves and the managers. Within the 4 months, we should come up with something that I believe will be extremely comprehensive for us.
And didn't they talk, I believe, this is a few months this will take, correct?
4 months.
4 months, yeah. And again, just so everyone knows, we even discussed this with staff as to whether we could do this in-house. There are a number of reasons why you shouldn't do that, especially when you're in-house designing your own plan. And number 2, the time and the effort it would take, and the staff work hours it would take was just not available to us. Any other comments, questions for you? Yes, Mr.
Yeah, one other thing is, I think it's in the best interest of staff not to be involved in this, because let's say they come back with the fact that they need a significant pay raise, then that puts them at risk of being challenged as in, oh, you're just looking after yourself. I think jobbing this out to a professional is the way to go. And I keep thinking of that commercial on television where this guy is trying to unclog the drain, and it goes bad, and it says, don't do it yourself, call a professional.
Other comments, questions? Mr. Amos?
Well, looking at the 2 that you have listed here, I can see there's more than one instance where they're gonna charge you more money for the.
Right,
I
right.
mean, this first group seems to be, they're gonna look at everything that we have, they may redo it, they may reclassify people.
Right.
That's all included. The other people, if they put new job descriptions, et cetera, the way I read it,
And they were only
they're
up
gonna
to,
charge you $85.
and they were only up to 100 people too, so.
Right.
And right now, I think we're 96. So we'll probably be, in the next month or so, we'll be, well over 100.
But that was what, full-time though, does that count?
Well, that'll be not 96 people, positions. I didn't see it as an FTE, I saw it as per person.
Okay.
Anything else? A motion is out there to award the contract to Evergreen Solutions for employee classification and compensation study in the amount of $24,000. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Flip. Rich. Employee Handbook Revision, enhancement recruitment methods for part-time positions. Again, Charles, anytime you want to jump in, Again, in my meeting with John, as we discussed this, I didn't realize this, that we, like everyone else, are having trouble getting employees. I just didn't know that, and I've talked to Kathy a number of times, and I always ask her, Kathy, why are you doing this? Why don't we have more people doing this? I didn't actually understand that we're having difficulty getting people to work, and keeping some people. Of course, you can always say, well, let's raise the wages, let's do those things, but that's not something maybe with our budget process and our situation we're ready to do right away. So what you have here is the handbook revision where they're discussing the fact of offering days off to employees after the first day of work and after, I can't remember it all, after 90 days of work, et cetera, et cetera. So rather than offering money to people, they're actually offering the incentive of having more time off as you start with us, which everyone, of course, enjoys. They're also part of this proposal is to offer an incentive of time off to people who work for us now and refer people to us who then come to work for us. Is that basically what we're looking at, Charles?
It is. We were also talking about money as a dollar referral.
Right.
So not just the time off.
Right.
And it is primarily for the part-time positions where we want to perform many of the tasks because the full-timers already have the benefits you all give us. So we didn't think that was needed to be tweaked to attract full-time people. We're talking about tweaking benefits for part-time people to encourage them.
Right, I forgot to mention that there's for the referral, there's the $100 and or vacation time. So do we have an actual recommendation on this one?
Yes,
Where is it?
it is that you adopt the, yes.
Am I in the wrong place?
That, adopt the revised employee.
Oh, I'm sorry, okay, I see it, okay, I didn't have that. Okay, so the recommendation of staff is to adopt the revised employee handbook as attached. We have a motion to accept that recommendation.
I'll make the
Mr.
motion.
Nugent, Mr. Bruno, second. All right, comments, questions? Asked. Charles? Again, it's nothing more than an incentive to get people, to refer people to us who may want to work, and it's also an incentive to get other people to come to work for us. I really truly did not know that we were having problems getting people to come to work until just a week ago.
I applaud the creative solutions.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Budget amendment. Mr. Henley, I'll let you do this one.
Okay, so as y'all know, we have the NRP program that you started in 2016. As a result of that, Mr. Armington, through the NRT, purchased a couple derelict lots, which were then auctioned off. Those were auctioned off in just a couple months ago, or I suppose, yeah. And we got good money for them. And this is about putting that money back into the NRP program, so refunding it with the proceeds of the sales of the lots it had purchased.
Mr. Reperger, we have a resolution. Would you read that for us?
Yes, sir. Resolution 2021-23, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Barefoot Bay Recreation District, amending Resolution 2021-09, amending the budget.
Thank you, sir. And of course, the recommendation is that the staff recommends the BOT approve Resolution 2021-23, increasing the budgeted proceeds from the sale of assets by $45,300 and increasing the NRP program budget by $45,300. Is there a motion to accept that recommendation? Mr. Morrissey, or who second? And Mr. Amos second. Comments, questions? Again, we're simply moving money back in their budget so they can continue the good work that they're doing, trying to beautify the bay. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Doors and windows replacement award contract. Did we just get something? No, we didn't. No, I signed the thing. Okay, what you have here is revised budget contains the following projects: $30,400 for building D&E exterior windows and windows replacement, $6,000 pro shop exterior windows replacement, $6,000 property services on Vulcan Drive exterior windows replacement, $42,400 subtotal, This, of course, has already been approved in the fiscal year 2020, in the fiscal year 22 revised budget. And the total is 42,400. Staff recommends a BOT award of contract to Coleman Glass and Mirror in the amount of $66,353.18. Oh, I'm sorry, there's also the bottom part. Additionally, staff solicited replacement of the Building A custodial room exterior door due to unexpected failure. 2 bids are received for the 4 projects identified above. $66,353.18 Coleman Glass and Mirror, $86,700 Icon Windows and Doors. Staff recommends the BOT award of contract to Coleman Glass and Mirror in the amount of $66,353.18. The replacement of various windows and doors, and to instruct staff to execute the required budget amendment from contingency. We have a motion to accept that recommendation. Mr. Nugent, Mr. Bruno, second. Comments, questions?
I was just curious about, because that one does not include the permitting. The other one includes the permitting, and according to them, it's $26,000 for permitting. So do we have to add that on to this total of 48?
Charles, do you know that question or not?
The permitting does need to be added to it in the Coleman, but I don't think that it's gonna cost $26,000, but I don't know what the.
No, I have no idea, but I'm reading the other invoice, and that's what they are charging for it, so I don't know if that's accurate or not, just curious.
I was glad to see that they went with impact glass. That seems crazy not to here in Florida, especially being on a golf course.
Any other comments, questions? Again, I don't know the answer to that, so I don't know what it is, but.
I'll leave that up to staff then.
Right. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Do we have a manager's report?
We do.
Are you gonna go over, or are we just gonna, you gonna read it?
I can't unless you want to.
No, I don't want to. I'm not the manager.
Okay, so, assessments, so we've already started receiving our assessment for fiscal year 22. We've received about 30% of them. Resident Relations is being busy over there with Rich, so he had, the art committee on the 23rd had 14 consent approved, 7 other items approved. The 12/7 art meeting, 1 whole business to be presented, 9 consent, 8 other items, blah, blah, blah. Next art meeting is scheduled for December 21st at 9 a.m. in Building D&E. The VC meeting on 12/3, 7 cases to be presented, 2 cases have come into compliance, 3 cases DOR is working with the homeowners, 2 cases to be presented. The next VC meeting is scheduled for January 14th at 10 a.m. in Building D&E. And let me see, interesting facts for November, 29 home sales, 39 orientations presented with 59 residents in attendance. So food and beverage, Kathy's room, the annual lounge Lakeside Christmas. The must-attend party of the season with TC and SAS will be held on December 18th from 6 to 10 p.m. This is an ugly sweater contest, cocktails of the season, and a small plate menu. Closure notices for the lounge and the 19th hole will be closed at 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve and are closed on Christmas Day. New Year's Eve party Lakeside. The New Year's band Soul Time will play on the lounge Lakeside stage from 8 p.m. to 12:15 a.m. As in past years, there will be a $5 gate fee. In the event of inclement weather, the band will set up inside the lounge. Be guaranteed a seat inside the lounge. $10 tickets will go on sale November 29th at 9 a.m. inside the lounge. And noisemakers and champagne toasts are included in the $10 ticket. Greggy and the Jets Tribute Band is tickets will go on sale for January 2nd in Building A at 11 a.m. for Greggy and the Jets, and Elton John tribute show to be held on March 25th. Tickets are $25. Theater style seating and a maximum of 4 seats per purchase with a valid badge. FYI, there is no connection between the band and the NFL 3 and 8 team with the same name. Flyers with all the details are posted around the page. Okay, property services has been very busy. I guess in the name of expedience, we can skip through to down to the closure notices, which is the on December 10th, the pools will be closed at 5 p.m. for the employee Christmas party. Christmas Day, all pools are closed all day. New Year's Eve, pools 2 and 3 will be closed all day. Pool 1 closes at 10 p.m. Pro Shop, cart barn repairs are awaiting their engineering approval, but biggest thing is Bert and Ernie say that there are only 20 shopping days left before Christmas, so you need to come down to the Pro Shop. In general information, employee Christmas party is December 10th, Friday, December 10th. So as customary over the past few years, all staff buildings and amenities, except for Building D&E, will be closed early on Friday, December 10th for that. Building D&E restrooms and rehabilitation project. I guess they have put in the dividers, and so it's coming along nicely. Lawn bowling update. Trustees were previously, ABM notified staff on the 17th due to staff shortage and inability for resodding. So, is this the right one still?
Yeah, that's one. And the big thing there is that on November 23rd and 24th, ABM top dressed and overseeded the field. And it looks bad, so that's an issue we're gonna have to look at in the coming months, because they didn't get the sod in as we requested, and they just overseeded and top dressed, and I went to look at it the other day, and that place is a mess.
All right, and Building A. So the platforms for the exhaust fans are scheduled to be installed on the 6th of December. So there seems to be an end in sight. R&M projects update bids were received for 4 budgeted on 1 unbudgeted HVAC unit. Staff signed the lowest responsible bids on the 22nd of November. Staff received a bid for the retaining wall. All right, let me see, special BOT meeting on December 17th. Right, that's to select the new attorney, is that it?
Right, and for the boards, the rest of the board's information, we have a meeting, John and I have a meeting on the 9th to meet with Mr. Carey and the Voss Law Firm to negotiate the contract or verify their contract.
So that special meeting is December 17th at 9 a.m. D&E. Admin building closures. We're closed on the 23rd and the 24th for Christmas holiday, and on the 31st for New Year's Eve. And the last thing is that I got an email from John telling me that he had been in contact with the North Pole. And that after lengthy negotiations, that all the residents have made it onto the good list again this year. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy New Year to all.
Thank you, Charles. Mr. Rappinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So although this is my last official BOT meeting, it won't be my last meeting. I will be attending on the 17th, and that will be the time that we will transition some files, and as you approve that agreement, You will be getting the update list that we will talk about, and I will briefly go over when we meet on the 17th where we're at on various issues before transition. You'll be getting, I'll explain what you'll be getting, and I'm hopeful that you're gonna get this by next Friday, which will be a week out from the meeting, so that if you have questions about where certain things are, you can contact me in advance of the 17th, or we'll be prepared to talk about them on the 17th. There are 50 matters that have been opened for Barefoot Bay within Whitebird. So we have 50 matters. A lot of those matters are closed. They're DOR cases that were resolved or closed. But you'll get this update list that will give you a reference sheet for all of the matters that we had at Whitebird. And this will be like the last list of official matters that our firm officially was handling. So that if you have questions on a specific issue or a specific case, you'll be able to answer those questions. I'll also give you a list of the actual up-to-date DOR enforcement cases status, so you know where all of those cases stand. And we may ask you to dismiss a couple of them or take some action on a couple of them on the 17th, but I'll let you know which ones those are when we get there. I'm aware of the fact that you selected Vos, obviously, Vos.
Yeah, and go ahead and announce it if you would, Cliff. I was going to announce it, but it's a Voss Law Firm.
So
with
Voss Law
John
Firm
Perry.
was selected as the next general counsel. I have already had a lengthy conversation with Mr. Carey. We had a long conversation yesterday about just kind of generally the picture of where we're at, some specifics on some matters. We've already started to kind of talk about how we will go through transition. There may be some things that I hold on to that I'm kind of knee deep in as far as some of the cases that I'll just finish out. They won't be long periods of time. Obviously, you don't want to have 2 attorneys on retainer at one time, but anything that makes sense because of the knowledge base or just will be more beneficial for the district to have me continue to handle, we'll do that. So we'll kind of work that out as we move forward toward the 17th. But I have full faith and confidence upon talking to Mr. Carey that you're going to be in great hands. They're a really good firm. They know what they're doing. I believe John is board certified in local government law, which is great. And just seem to be very competent, and they're really excited to be coming in, and that's good. So I'm extremely pleased, and I think that it's going to be a real productive transition. So other than that, as far as substantive issues, the one thing that I wanted to hit on, I know some of you had gotten, I know Chairman Mino and Mr. Bruno had been served with a subpoena in a Division of Administrative Hearing case related to Mr. Preston against the Sheriff's Office. And it really is the Sheriff's Office that has brought a claim for attorney's fees against Mr. Preston in an administrative hearing related to a complaint that was filed through the Division of Elections. For some reason, Mr. Preston has felt the need to litigate some issues related to his ongoing claims against the district and or the over 60 softball league within that proceeding. It really doesn't have anything to do with Barefoot Bay. The fact that the subpoenas were even issued was quite surprising to me. We have, on behalf of the district, moved to intervene in that case, and we have filed a motion for protective order and to quash the subpoenas that have been served on the chairman and the secretary. So we have a hearing on that case. There will be a pretrial hearing on that case on Monday at 3 o'clock. And so I'm relatively confident that the administrative law judge will quash those subpoenas and that you will not have to attend. There is a proceeding that Mr. Preston has arranged for, has reserved a space in Building A to have that hearing, but I don't believe that your presence will be required. However, right now you're under subpoena, so you would have to attend, but once we find out from on Monday I will know whether you will have to attend that hearing on the 7th or not. I'm extremely confident that you will not have to.
Believe me, Cliff, we both say thank you, both Jeff and I. That was
So-
the dumbest thing ever, getting served for what they served this morning.
But if anyone else has been served, I mean, I'm acting on behalf of the district, on behalf of the elected officials that have been served through the district. I have not filed a motion to quash or protective order for any other party that was served. I don't know of any other of the trustees that have been served, but, I do know that there were other subpoenas that went out to other individuals, so they would kind of be on their own to address that. However, I do believe, based on the feedback that I'll probably get from the administrative law judge on Monday, chances are the administrative law judge is not going to entertain those issues that are raised in that subpoena. So, just be aware of that issue.
Was that hearing open to the public in building A?
Yeah, he's reserved the building space, so I'm not quite sure what he envisions happening at that space, but we'll find out.
Cliff, if it's not in building A, he called me the other day, was talking about moving it to the administration building.
They had talked about that because of the availability of Wi-Fi. However, we've talked to staff about the fact that they don't need to provide a specific Wi-Fi connection for Mr. Preston. I don't know if the reservation was moved or not. I wasn't aware of that. I don't think it has been. Okay. So, although, and again, this is my last official meeting, but I will be around, be here on the 17th. I'll be here to follow up any other matters. I don't envision that this will be the last time that I come into this room by any stretch, so I'll certainly be seeing everybody, probably more than you like. So it doesn't need to be too emotional. And again, the reason for my resignation, again, no one should read into this that there's any type of a problem. I've really loved this experience. I'm proud and honored to have represented this community. I think that change is a natural thing and a healthy thing. And so again, I'm excited for your new council. You're gonna have a new fresh set of eyes on things and a fresh set of ideas. But as you might imagine, I do have quite a bit of good stories from my time at Barefoot Bay. And I figured I wouldn't bore you with all of them, but if you could just take one of these and pass it, one of each of these, there's two things that are passed around, and just pass them down. I'll give you a half a second to do that. So for those of you, I did want to share one of my stories. So for those of you who weren't here for my hiring, and there's a few people in this room that were here for that, but some not. As you might have heard rumors or just stories in the community, it wasn't necessarily the most stable time in the district when I first walked in the door. There was quite a bit of contentiousness as I walked into the room. And the attitude that was in this room and around the board wasn't nearly as professional and controlled as it is today. In fact, it was such a charged atmosphere and it was so contentious that one of my very first acts was to issue a memorandum. It was the very first memorandum that I issued, I think, to the district, if memory serves me right, Ackley Robinson. And the title of this memo is, "What is Civility?" And that was actually the question that was asked, question number one, what is civility? So you can imagine, whatever was the catalyst for this memo had gone down in this room, that I felt that it was so, it impressed upon me so much the need to counsel everyone on what the definition of civility was. And the answer to that question was, civility is more about, is about more than merely being polite. Although being polite is an excellent start, civility fosters a deep awareness, even as it is characterized by true respect for others. Civility requires the extremely hard work of staying present, even with those whom we have deep-rooted and perhaps fierce disagreements. It is about constantly being open to hear, to learn, to teach, and to change. It seeks common ground as being a point for dialogue when differences occur, while at the same time recognizes that differences are enriching. It is patience, grace, and strength of character. And I think, and it really, I take absolutely no credit for any of the growth and development in the district since the time that I've been here. However, it really has been a pleasure to watch over these 14 years the way that the district has changed from something that was quite a bit of a punchline in some government circles, local government circles around Brevard County, to really one of the more effectively functioning governmental bodies in Brevard County. And trust me, you can watch it at the highest level of Brevard County government right now. They could do well to learn from you all at this point. So it really has come quite far, quite a ways. And so I felt like I would issue another memorandum as I leave officially. And so my last memorandum that I'll issue to the board, at least as of today, is the question is, what is gratitude? And I was not going to get emotional, but so the word gratitude is derived from the Latin word gratia, which means grace, graciousness, gratefulness, depending on the context. In some ways, gratitude encompasses all of these meanings. Gratitude is a thankful appreciation for what an individual receives, whether tangible or intangible. With gratitude, people acknowledge the goodness in their lives. In the process, people usually recognize that the source of the goodness lies, at least partially, outside themselves. As a result of being grateful, also helps people connect to something larger than themselves as individuals, whether to other people, nature, or a higher power. I really am grateful for a number of things. Grateful for the opportunity to work here for the past 14 years. Not many attorneys get to serve one client for as long and to see as much positive growth. I'm grateful for all, again, the positive growth and development of this district I've been able to witness and play a role in. I'm glad to have helped when I can help do things that have helped the district grow and improve. I'm grateful for the assistance of the staff and the employees. There are so many. You have such a great staff here. John is one of the best public servants I've ever worked with. All of your department heads are incredible. Your employees are all dedicated employees, and everybody is truly a team here. I'm grateful to the residents of the community for welcoming me and my family to be part of the community for as long as they have. Lily and I will be back at the Christmas parade this weekend, our annual tradition. And I'm grateful to all of the trustees who have considered my advice and counsel, some past trustees here as well today. And you all have been amazing stewards of this community. And so I really appreciate everything that you've done for the benefit of this community and to allow me to serve the district for as long as I have. So I really appreciate it, and I'm grateful for it, and thanks very much. And we will enjoy each other for a little bit longer as we move through the transition. Thanks.
Thank you, Craig. And again, this is really neat. I like this. It is with a lot of gratitude and appreciation on behalf of all the trustees you serve with, the different chairmen and the staff and the residents here. We truly do appreciate everything you've done for the board. I also appreciate the fact that you're going to stay on with a couple of those items. It's a very good point, and I didn't know you were going to do that, but I do appreciate that. And so again, good luck with what you're going to go into, your future endeavors in your law work, and we truly, truly do appreciate the things you've done for the Bay. Thank you, sir. So, with that, remember, do we have a portable mic? Did we ever do that? Do we have a portable mic?
We have,
Yes.
we're gonna hook it up. I thought you were gonna do the.
I'm not sure what we're going to do with that. We're going to turn the meeting at some point, but then we're going to do what, Kathy, with either one of you? What are we doing then? We're going to do a portable mic thing now?
Yes. Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
All right, so
Okay.
hook it up.
So if you have it, we would do that right now.
Let's do that now.
So we're just going to take a moment here just to, in the meantime, would we go with trustee remarks? Mr. Nugent. Mr. Bruno.
I'll borrow on Cliff's word, gratitude. It's been an honor and privilege to serve out Roger Compton's trustee term, and best wishes for the holiday season.
You still have a meeting, in December.
Oh,
Or, I mean, you have a meeting. So you're not going away yet. Mr. Morrissey.
I would like to thank Cliff for years of service. It's a pleasure. The only thing I would have for the residents of the Bay is it's now holiday time, and it means a lot more cars on the road. And, there's more children now who are going to be out of school soon that live in the Bay. I appreciate your help and guidance to see that they return to school safely after the holidays. I'm pertaining mostly to what I'm talking about is the condition of the roads, the speeders in the road. It's getting worse, it's not getting any better, and I know we had some kind of a program coming up about this speeding. Hopefully I'll get here quicker. I've noticed additional trouble spots that need to be addressed because of the speeders. So with that said, I suppose that everybody should have a happy holiday. Hopefully you have a happy day and Merry Christmas and a happy Hanukkah. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Amos?
Well, I have to say that we've been living here for 11 years, and I didn't know, I just didn't know. But last night, we went to the Barefoot Bay Little Theater. It was unbelievable. If you never went to see these people, they're really dedicated. We laughed so hard, it was such an enjoyable night. So I want to thank everybody that was involved. That's one reason Mr. Coffey's not here. He's busy in Building A getting killed once again. That's 3 times this week. So if you get a chance, I mean, today was the last day, but next year, make sure you do it. And I definitely want to thank Mr. Cliff. I've only been actually back and forth with him for 6 months, and it was a very good learning experience. I appreciate all the help that I've gotten from him. And Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and all the holidays to everybody out there. Thank you.
Thank you. The only other thing I have to add, I want to make sure everyone understands, we did, for general counsel position, we did get 7 applications for that. We held interviews last week. We interviewed 3 firms. All 3 firms, of course, presented themselves very, very well. The Voss law firm, I think you say Voss, is that correct? Voss.
Pronounce it like a long O.
Okay, Voss law firm, and Mr. Carey would be their lead counsel here. They were the last ones to come in, and again, I agree, they did an excellent job in their interview process. It was unanimous of the Board of Trustees to sit down with them and negotiate a contract with them. So again, Cliff will still be doing some things with us, but he will be gone. And we hope to have that council on probably at the end of the...
On the 17th, we'll sign the contract.
17th,
It should be
so,
effective whenever you guys negotiate. And then they'll take over at the next meeting, obviously.
Sounds like thank you, sir.
Already.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to have a little hors d'oeuvres and things back there, correct, Kathy? And do we want to do, we're going to adjourn the meeting, but then we're just going to have, pass the mic around if people would like to say some things and still film this as our screening about Cliff or whatever they'd like to do. Is that all right? And then we'll have a little, no? We're not filming it. Okay, you can say anything you want about it if we're not filming it. It can be bad, it doesn't matter. But we will have the little refreshments after this. We have comments, is that correct? I'm looking at Kathy and she's got a nod her head. Okay. Okay, so right now I need a meeting to adjourn the official meeting. Motion by Mr. Morrissey, seconded by Mr. Amos. All those in favor of adjournment, signify by saying by aye. Motion carries. Thank you. We're meeting adjourned. Where is our mic? Yeah, turn your mics on, sure.
Bob? Oh, it gets better.
I suppose we could have just used that mic there.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Don't they stay and have some refreshments and